What's up, my friends? Brant Phillips with the Real Estate Fundamentals, and today I want to talk about why single-family rental homes are not passive. You heard me correct. Single-family rental properties are not passive income. So let's just get into it. This is one of the biggest myths I see in real estate investing, one of the biggest misconceptions, something that I see over and over and over, time and time again, that real estate investors get misguidance from, right, by these so-called gurus that are teaching them to build up this big portfolio of rental properties and create passive income. It's not the case. All right, so let me just hit the brakes a little bit. I'm not discouraging anybody from building up a rental portfolio. You absolutely should be building up a rental portfolio, but I want you to do it with the right mindset, the right understanding, like I would just call it an accurate understanding of what it is that you're doing, okay? Because most times, most rental properties are not going to be passive. They're very active, right? And so let's just talk about this. I'm going to share kind of my story and why I have the views that I do and why I have this mindset that I do. So when I got started into real estate, a lot of you know that I started with nothing. My wife and I were living in an apartment. We were pretty much dead broke. We just finished paying off our student loans, credit cards, all that kind of stuff. We did this whole Dave Ramsey thing. We're debt free. Woohoo, what do we do? Then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Boom, huge paradigm shift. Learned how to wisely leverage other people's money, other people's time, and essentially leverage real estate to create wealth and to create income. Ideally, seeking passive income. So one of the first things I did was I sought mentorship. I hired a local coaching club, an investment group, and I wanted to execute their model. Like anyone looking to create success in any area of life, one of the easiest ways that you can do it, or one of the quickest ways you can do it, is find someone who has the results that you're seeking, find out what they're doing, speed up the path to results, avoid the pitfalls. So I sought mentoring and coaching, and they said, hey, the best way to create wealth and income in real estate is build up a rental portfolio because it's passive income. There's all these tax advantages, and it's one of the single greatest ways to create wealth. Bought it hook, line, and sinker. And I'm glad that I did, but here was my experience. I'm just going to kind of fast forward my experience. So in a very quick period of time, well, a little over 3 years, I had about 30 rental properties, okay? And I did things the right way, right? I made sure that I had adequate cash flow numbers, right, on each and every property. I'm a big believer in what I was taught, which was best product, best price, right? Like we renovated our properties very nicely. We didn't overprice them and we didn't underprice them. We had the best product at the best price. And if you're using that model, ideally you're going to attract the best applicants so you can choose the best applicants. So we were very cautious in screening and selecting tenants, because if you're not screening and accepting the best tenants and the most ideal tenants, you don't have a chance in this business, because bad tenants will absolutely destroy you. So I was doing things the right way, and when I got around to 25, 30 rental properties, I was doing, most of that myself in terms of, I was finding deals, working with wholesalers, I was raising capital through private lenders and partnerships and things like that. Now I did have a contractor that was doing all the renovations, but then when it came time when the property was done, I was typically leasing these myself, typically, not all the time, and then I was managing them. Okay, so obviously that wasn't going to be passive, but now I'm back to this idea. It's like, okay, now I've built my portfolio. By the way, just quick tangent, if you're building a rental portfolio, just think about that. Like the word building is a very active word, so there's no passive in the word building, right? There's not. It's you're building it, so it's very active, and that's okay. But I got to a point and I said, hey, I've got these 30 something rental properties. I'm going to look to hire a property manager. And so I looked at hiring a property manager and decided, rather than hiring a company, that I was going to bring that in-house. So I hired my first full-time employee, which was an admin assistant, but really her main job was to manage my properties, sign leases, lease properties, respond to repairs, all that kind of stuff. As I continued to build my portfolio, so I got close to 50 rental properties. and all single family rental properties, and with a full-time admin. But guess what? It still wasn't passive, right? So why was that? So you've got tenants, you've got toilets, and you've got taxes, right? So those are three of the big things, like a why it's not a passive investment, right? So anytime you have people living in your properties, there's going to be repairs, there's going to be maintenance that's going to be needed, there's going to be billing, there's principal and interest loans or mortgage loans from your lenders, there's, like I mentioned, taxes, there's HOAs. You're going to receive HOA letters in the mail that the tenants aren't mowing the yard, or that house needs to be pressure washed, all these types of things. There's a lot of moving parts. Okay, repair requests, people break stuff, and that becomes a headache, and it becomes expensive. So even if, and this was my experience, even if you have a full-time property manager, when it comes to the really big problems, guess who a lot of times is either going to have to fix those problems, or, which is you, by the way, or even if you're not fixing them, you're still finding out about them. You're still hearing about them through phone, email, text, and that's a little bit stressful, right? And you're still cutting the checks at the end of the day. And so as I began building my portfolio, let me just be clear about this. I'm extremely, extremely glad that I did, and I encourage every one of you to build your rental portfolio. But it's just not passive. There's acts of God, okay? I've been through multiple hurricanes. I don't care if you've got the best property manager in the world. They may be managing hundreds, maybe even thousands of other properties. When Hurricane Harvey hit in Houston, and other windstorms, and there's electrical outages and things like that all the time, it's just not passive. You've got people living in your property, so it makes it really difficult. Look at what we just went through with COVID-19, the eviction moratorium, things like that. Not too passive. UPS trucks, what am I talking about? We literally had a rental property where a UPS truck drove into the property in the middle of the day. Don't care how great your management and all your systems are. That's not passive when things like that happen. Now you're getting into insurance claims and dealing with the UPS on their driver driving their truck into your house. So I hope this video doesn't discourage anyone from building a rental portfolio. Like I said, it has been the single greatest way that I've acquired wealth, for me and my family since I started investing. We're buying 2 rental properties now. We still buy rental properties. It is a piece of our assets, a piece of our portfolio that's absolutely critical to building wealth for you and your family. It's one of the greatest ways to utilize leverage and to receive income. And it is an income generating asset, but trust me, my friends, it's not always a passive income generating asset, and that's okay, because it's still a great investment opportunity. So I encourage you to get as many as you can. Now stay tuned for other videos. Check out my channel, because I have some other videos on what I consider to be some of the most passive ways to create passive income streams through different real estate vehicles. So I hope you got a lot out of this video. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hey, if you disagree with me, post your comments in here. I'd love to mix it up with you guys and talk to you guys. So y'all take care.